Hey guys, Ponce here to let you know about the Galio ability preview thing that Riot just released. This most likely means that Galio rework will be released sometime later today, probably in the next few hours, I imagine. But for now, we have this. So let's just go over all the abilities. I'll kind of read out what's going on here, and then we'll show these little video clips. For those of you interested in the actual preview page itself, link in the description below. Anyway, the passive Colossal Smash. Galio's next basic attack deals bonus magic damage in an area, scaling with his bonus attack damage, which is kind of weird, and magic resist. Colossal Smash's cooldown is reduced whenever Galio's spell hits a unique champion, once per spell. So here we go, just show what this looks like. So see, it does like AoE damage. Looks like it actually, judging by how much damage it deals to minions, for passive it seems to deal quite a bit. Like, I don't know how long it's going to take him to scale it, because they don't have any numbers yet. Again, it's not on the PvE, but anyway, next ability here. Let's take a look at Winds of War. So it's kind of like his old Wind Gust thing a little bit, except it sort of reminds me actually of Diana's Q. So anyway, Galio fires 2 gusts of wind that deal magic damage. When the wind blast converge, a vortex that deals additional damage is formed, including bonus damage based on the target's maximum health. It's a bit of a tank shredding property to him a bit. So you guys see what happened there? Basically, it hits these things on the way and deals extra damage. 2, 3. Like, it kind of chunks the person 3 times that it actually hits with the actual vortex thing in the middle. So, kind of an interesting little skill shot there. I guess actually then it's a combined version of his old Wind Gust plus that weird, what is it called? The Smite ability, that glowing ball thing he used to shoot. Anyway, next thing we have here is Shield of Durand. Passive and an active version. So if Galio avoids taking damage for a moderate period, he gains a shield that absorbs magic damage. So a little bit like what's that guy called? Malphite's passive. But it also has kind of this weird active and hold channeling version. I don't think there's an ability like this in League of Legends, so this is kind of neat. Anyway, hold. Holding down the W key causes, or in my case the 2 key, causes Galio to enter a defensive stance, gaining damage reduction but moving significantly slower. This channel can't be interrupted even if Galio gets hit with a crowd control spell. Release. When W is released, Galio taunts nearby enemy champions. The taunt's range and duration extend based on how long he remained in the defensive stance. So I guess a little bit like what's that guy called? Maokai's ult, sort of, but not exactly. You guys watch. And so that's how much he'll gain off his passive there, the passive version. So that's kind of neat. So notice how slowly he moves, though. Channeling, and he like really slows down. So that's pretty interesting. So that's kind of like his old ult. All right, next we have E-Justice Punch. Interesting name. Galio hops back to wind up for an epic haymaker. After a brief delay, he charges forward, dealing magic damage to enemies and knocking them up. Galio's charge stops upon colliding with with a champion or terrain. I'm assuming they mean enemy champion, because you wouldn't stop at an ally, I'm guessing. Also, note that's kind of important. Stops at terrain, so he can't use this to hop over terrain. That's actually very significant. So there you have it. That's pretty basic ability, just kind of this gap closery thing. I imagine it's integral to his kit. It's just nothing, too exciting there. And lastly, here's the ult. Hero's Entrance. Galio designates an ally's current position, note current position, not when he ends up actually using it, as his landing spot, granting them Shield of Durand's damage reduction for a few seconds. He then leaps high into the air, torpedoing to the place his targeted ally was when Galio activated Hero's Entrance. When he lands, he deals magic damage to all enemies in the area and knocks them up. The knock-up lasts longer for those in the center of the landing zone. So let's take a look what's going on here. It looks kind of neat. I don't know what like the exact distance on this is. I don't know if it's a true global or like kind of a short range global like TF or the newly nerfed TF, and what was that other guy called? Nocturne, something like that. So we'll see how this ends up working out. But yeah, I guess it's sort of like a combination of Pantheon plus Shen, just sort of a mix of those two. So it looks kind of interesting there. And then, of course, Riot goes on to talk about sort of playstyle, et cetera, basically saying that, yeah, he's like, he's a magic resistance tank sort of thing who generally doesn't do too well versus like super AD heavy teams. So here's the quote here. A Missile Scepter is still Galio's bread and butter item, but it ain't much use against a Fed Zed. Some use. I mean, the AP is nice. So they're basically saying how, like, typically how he's built is, yeah, mostly magic resistance with some AP. I'd like to see the exact ratios on it to just see, because, typically there's sort of a point that I find most personally efficient, in terms of AP versus, or offensive stat versus defensive stat. In this case, it'd be AP versus magic resistance. Shows all the skins here. They all look pretty neat. This is the default, of course. This is Commando, Debonair. I think this one is called Enchanted or something like that. This one actually, personally, to me, looks the best. I actually like this one here. This is the legendary one, Gatekeeper. So this comes with the new voiceover, allegedly, and stuff like that. And this one is, I forget what it's called. Piltover, Clockwork, whatever. And there's actually some in-game clips here. So these are kind of neat. We'll kind of watch these, and I'll explain, I guess, or give my interpretation of what's going on here. Oh, that's important. Let's rewind there. So, what's her face here? Quinn is going to get ulted right there. See when she's right there? And then here's the targeting thing. So this is where Galio is going to land with his ult. And then he comes in right there, ultimately. And then that's a huge knock-up on this guy. And looks like they get a small knock-up there. Galio just kind of keeps chasing down. I'm assuming he's been built super tanky here, as opposed to any kind of damage at all, because he doesn't seem to be doing much damage. But he definitely seems to stick to these people, and he's being really annoying. And just sort of keeps the fight going. Although that passive actually dealt okay-looking damage there. Granted, it was an AD carry, but... Alright, so there you have it. Galio brought the tankiness, the rest of his team brought the damage. Alright, so here's another clip right here. Let's take a look at this one. More Galio chase down. Using his taunt a lot there. I like this Jarvan, by the way. He's doing his job. He's manning up. Look at that guy. He's the real hero of this video. He's setting the play up so Galio can look good. And of course he dies for it, but... So, I mean, I guess notice that it was the Jarvan that had to dive there. Like, just because he does have, like, these gap-closing diving abilities and can go in and start shit, but, there's just other champions who are better at it. But, yeah, he looks just really tanky, and he just gums stuff up while doing an okay amount of damage over time by the looks of it. Of course, his ult seems very powerful. Kind of seems like he might have an issue with getting kited backwards. Although, I don't know, maybe people might want to... Well, no, actually, Abyssal wouldn't really do any... Not Abyssal, what's that item called? The one they recently nerfed. The slowing AP item. I haven't actually built it too much since they nerfed it, so I forget what it's called, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, that wouldn't be too useful, because all his abilities are, like... look like they're on slow cooldown, or he's already up to the person with a punch anyway. Like, slowing people with a wind gust on what I'm assuming is a relatively long cooldown probably wouldn't be too useful, but I don't know. Again, I'd have to see the exact numbers on him and, like, the cooldowns and, all that stuff to really draw any definitive conclusions. And, of course, here's all the art down here. Check it out. Want. So, once again, if you're interested, and these are just things you've seen before. For those of you interested, I'll link this in the description below, and as soon as he's available on the PBE, I will be there testing him for you guys. Gameplay footage, live stream on twitch.tv, etc., etc. Yeah, it looks like he might have potential. Like I said, he might be a bit too much on the tanky side, a little too little on the damage side for my personal liking, but we'll see. Like, there is a lot of... champions like this tend to have a lot of potential to, like, sometimes... I don't know, shoehorn them into a damage role they don't tend to belong into and end up being really strong. I've always actually liked sort of AP, or basically magic tanks that deal damage. So we'll see. It might have potential. See you guys around. Look forward to bringing you the footage and whatnot. Goodbye.